And my whole team was counting on me to make a good response video. My wife and my kid were counting on me to make a good response video, and I failed. I didn't make a good video.
Did they see it before it went out?
It was live.
Oh.
What up, y'all? It's your boy, O Man, aka O the Dread, and welcome back to the channel. It looks like you all mostly enjoyed my last video, so today I've decided to cover another individual who was once respected, but by their own deplorable actions has since fallen from grace. The person we're covering today is a charlatan, grifter, historical revisionist, and pseudoscientist with an alleged criminal background full of lies, misinformation, manipulation, and pandering. With his crosshair aimed at his very own people of color, he's made a name for himself by obfuscating vocabulary while misrepresenting biblical and spiritual texts to create a cult-like following, positioning himself as the one true holder of a sacred knowledge. Fortunately for us, after a series of unfortunate events for him, he's been exposed and has since faded into the abyss, all having been extensively documented, which we'll explore here in this video. Billy Cameron Carson II, who goes by the pseudonym Forbidden Knowledge, was born on September 4th, 1971. He's said to have grown up in the ghettos of Miami, where he began working as a newspaper boy at age 12 and apparently became a self-proclaimed serial entrepreneur by the age of 16. Today, he is the founder and CEO of Forbidden Knowledge, Inc., Forbidden TV, and the co-founder of First Class Space Agency. Billy presents himself as an expert in ancient civilizations and author, musician, actor, producer, and director. Forbidden Knowledge Inc. and TV is his primary organization, initially a knowledge for ascension blog that eventually evolved into a streaming network. First Class Space Agency, based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, is said to be an organization involved in research and development of alternative propulsion systems and zero-point energy devices. He co-founded a subsidiary called United Family of Anomaly Hunters to search for life on other planets, developing fields like archaeoastronomy and astroanthropology. Basically, it's a bullshit company claiming to pioneer a new area of science and research in something that NASA already has spent billions of dollars doing for nearly 70 years already. As far as I can tell, this company only exists as a defunct website with a mission statement and the only working links directing you to either his or his wife's products. Pantheon Elite Records is Billy's music label and maybe my favorite of all of his grifts. The label is said to feature 5 conscious music artists, including himself. Now, I wasn't able to find 5 artists listed under his label, nor was I even able to find an official website for it, and most of the music I did find was just binaural beats and stuff. I wasn't willing to let Billy off the hook for listing himself as one of the conscious music artists on his label, so I did a little more digging, and that's when I found his apparent artist name, Donny Arcade, and this.
Eye for an eye. What about the all-seeing eye? The eye in the sky. Watch a man fly. Ever since ancient time, the eye left by creators of the divide. Watch a man strive just to stay alive. Planning for the strife. Put down the guns and knife.
Yeah, you suck. You just fucking suck. Blows my mind that somebody like this not only exists, but also is delusional enough to post it online.
I can't play too much of it because I'm sure it'll be the perfect reason for Billy to get this video copyright stricken, but I'll put a link of it in the description below so we can all get a good laugh at it. He also founded SheCanPlay.org in 2008, and as far as I can tell, that company has since been acquired by Education Online Services. Carson is also CEO of a pretend company called Fort Terra Nova, who supposedly secured a $20 million fund to build a make-believe underground city in Georgia.
So 2010, I came home. I was working on this big project called Fort Terra Nova, which I built. And Fort Terra Nova was on the History Channel.
As well as president of ZenForce Media and CEO of American Compassionate Care. I've looked into both of those as well, and while one leads to a dead end and the other shows no verifiable connection between him and them, it's needless to say that Mr. Carson potentially embellished his financial record. That wouldn't be outshined by his philanthropist endeavors, which were largely met with skepticism in 2017 when he raised almost $48,000 for Hurricane Maria relief.
Pulling up to the back of the Cheesecake Factory with more hurricane supplies. And I'm going to drop them off here today because the weather is too bad to go to the other airport in Miami. But they're happy to get them here and take them on a private jet. Getting ready to offload these out of my trunk and the inside of the vehicle. It's getting ready to rain, so I'm not probably going to go live here. I'm just waiting for the manager to come outside. Hey, this is Forbidden Knowledge here, Billy Carson. I'm here with Chris at the Cheesecake Factory. You are the general manager. And this is my second drop-off over here at the Cheesecake. They've been nice enough to help out Puerto Rico by utilizing some of the facilities here and their drop-off methods. How do you guys usually get stuff out there?
We have a plane that flies from a produce company that's made 2 deliveries so far. I got one more scheduled this week.
Fantastic. I appreciate you, man. Thanks so much. And I'll be back again.
Many question the transparency regarding the money used, pointing to seemingly small quantities of supplies in relation to the significant amount of funds raised. Critics also allege his company, Forbidden Knowledge, has been paying his wife's company, Handflow LLC, hundreds of thousands of dollars in consulting fees, suggesting he may be funneling investment money back into their own company. However, this would only be one of the many chapters in the book of Billy. Oh, and by the way, the wife I mentioned is Billy's second wife, who he's no longer with as a few months before making this video. His first wife and family, according to Billy, left him after he expressed to them that he had an alien encounter.
Because I basically lost my whole family over this.
No way.
Yeah. I was working on this project. I come home, I'm looking at ESPN, and I'm looking at sports about 9 o'clock p.m. All the lights turn dim, the TV turns off, and I thought my kids were playing a trick on me because they lived up in the room behind me, up on the second floor. And I look up, and there's nobody there. When I turn around, there were these two beings right there.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. And, whew. Man, hold on.
Whoa.
Sorry.
No.
Why do you have to freak yourself, man?
That's right, they thought he was crazy and they left him. That's his story. But I'm not convinced. I'll tell you why. Billy claims to have changed his name to William Carson following being the target of identity theft and supposedly, quote, never got back around to changing it. According to his story, this identity theft issue stemmed from an individual named Terrence Howard. Yes, a man who is not the actor Terrence Howard stole his car and used his driver's license and social security card to commit crimes in his name, leading to multiple arrests and issues with his credit. Fast forward for a moment to Billy Carson and the actual actor Terrence Howard bro bonding over pseudoscience and brain-dead conspiracies years later, and you can kind of see how things start to get a little weird. Interestingly enough, this wouldn't be his last run-in with identity theft, as he claims to have fallen victim to it again, this time at the hands of a shady business partner who allegedly siphoned business deals and used his identity. These claims were extensively detailed and then challenged in a 2-hour expose video by Anton Wisbicki, a former friend and longtime business associate of Carson's. During this scathing video, Anton provided receipts including paperwork suggesting old Billy hasn't been entirely truthful with his audience. This included legal documents, photos, and a plethora of information outlining Billy's shady past and present behavior. One of Anton's claims is that Billy was never a victim of identity theft and instead was a criminal who allegedly was using fake IDs to open multiple accounts with other people's information. His name changes thereafter claimed to be an attempt to clean up his image as he became more popular in media. Anton's video, which I will link in the description, covers more than I can squeeze into this video, but I suggest you all go check it out. Billy vehemently denies Anton's claims during a 3-hour seething session stemming from a conversational debate with Christian apologetic and scholar Wes Huff on a prior podcast appearance that Anton coordinated with a personal friend to have Billy on for a discussion. During the podcast, Billy embarrassingly fumbled multiple biblical references and historical data, prompting the beginning of the end, as Wes Huff then proceeded to flex his degrees in biblical manuscripts, Christian theology, and sacred canonical texts all over Billy the Anunnaki guy's forehead. This led Billy into a downward spiral, causing him to show up at the house of Anton's friend Mark, who moderated the debate between him and Wes at nearly 3 a.m. with a do not consent form, basically to scare Mark into not releasing the video of him getting dunked on. Billy's lawyer quickly followed up with a formal cease and desist letter, which almost did the job as Mark briefly deleted the video out of fear of being sued by Billy Carson. I say briefly because it was only a day or so before Mark realized he needed to show the world who Billy really is, as he felt threatened by Carson's erratic behavior. While addressing Anton and Mark during his 3-hour rant, Billy went on to expose himself over and over for the kind of garbage that he is. In true crash out fashion, he threatened to sue Mark and Anton, accusing them of creating fake accounts and bots to comment hate, thumbs down videos, and issue threats against him and his family. He even goes as far as to liken his perceived cyber attack as organized related crime, comparing it to a RICO case.
Try to create this global network for little old Billy Carson.
He claimed he was ambushed into this debate with Wes Huff after just recovering from what he described as a near-death experience with pneumonia. The reality is, once he got into a room with someone who knew more than he does, he folded like a lawn chair. You see, Billy Carson has made a career out of grifting and lying. He claims to have degrees from MIT and Harvard, which were proven to be short online courses that anybody can take and are absolutely meaningless. His outrageous claims and charlatan ways would eventually, unfortunately, land him in the crosshairs of science communicator Professor Dave Explains, who made it abundantly clear that not only were Billy's credentials completely bogus, but that he's a garbage person who pretends to elevate black people but really preys on them, encouraging them to turn their backs on real knowledge and embrace snake oil he sells, which will only influence them away from choices and career paths that could actually elevate them out of poverty. A lot like his newfound friend Terrence, 1 × 1 = 2 Howard, Billy is academically inept, can barely string together coherent sentences or pronounce words properly, yet swears to have all the answers as long as you don't ask any questions. Really cult-like behavior if you ask me, with a little twist of Afrocentricity. He pretends to be pro-black while simultaneously outsourcing our ancestors' intelligence and physical abilities to some alien sky daddies that only he understands. And for the itty-bitty price of your critical faculties and all the money in your pocket, you too can achieve eternal life and salvation from impending doom. This sound familiar to you at all? In the months following, things have gotten particularly quiet for our man Billy Fraudson. During his live cope session, Billy announced the Bible study podcast series titled Unraveling Ancient Truths with Paul Wallace, an archdeacon in the Anglican Church in Australia. Anglican Communion is a Christian communion which seems to blur the lines between Protestant and Catholic, Reformed and Anabaptist, liberal and evangelical, promoting a way of being rather than a precise theological formula. I say that to say Billy would try to use this person as a weak attempt to seem interested in learning more and deepening his understanding so that he wouldn't be caught off guard again. The reality is, he more than likely wanted to find someone, anyone, with a relation to a church that was willing to dabble in his form of mysticism just to give it any bit of validity that he can muster up so he can continue his grift. This would appear on the same channel as all his other podcast content where he continues to platform other charlatans and grifters such as Terrence Howard. Billy Carson is another sad case of a charlatan and potential cult leader disguised as a champion of the people. He spreads misinformation and pseudoscience to sell magic elixirs and shitty books. He's actively trying to revise history, stripping his own people of pride in an attempt to replace it with empty promises, and he's not the only one. People like Joe Rogan, Terrence Howard, Dr. Umar, and others can all be added to the list of cancers to society. They poison the masses with misinformation and lies that causes them to distrust legitimate experts. They are collectively making the world a dumber and more dangerous place, and I will continue to shed light on as many of them as I possibly can. If you made it this far, I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate you for real. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed and you want to see more of my content. It might not seem like a big deal, but it really helps YouTube know that I'm doing something right, and that helps grow the channel a lot. Let me know in the comments how you feel about Billy Carson. Is there anyone else I should cover? I'm also open to respectful, constructive criticism, so if there's something I could be doing better, I'm all ears. Just don't be a jerk. Until next time, be the person you like to meet. Peace.
Oh man, I'm about to pop out. And you know I brought the drop out.